per person. You might either pay here and your name will be added to the guest list, or you can pay there, preferably here. But we were privileged to have exposure to this Qawwali group in Durban, was it? And for people who have a flavor, a liking for that flavor of ecstatic remembrance, it's a wonderful, it's a well worth it to attend the performance. We are running half an hour late, but so we probably will end the day around 5:30. Right, Bismillah. I would like to introduce Debra Morrison and Nabila Ismail. Both of them are highly qualified kinesiologists, applied kinesiologists, and have many other background talents and qualifications in biochemistry and healing arts and sports psychology. Bismillah, hand it over to you.
Thank you, Muna. Can everybody hear us quite nicely?
I don't know. Can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Okay, mine's on.
Is that better?
Okay. Thank you for having us, and thank you for being here and giving us your attention. As you heard, I'm Debra and this is Nabila. I don't really want to get into my academic background at all. You know, hearing Shaykh saying we need to let go of who we are and know nothing, I'm like, I just am who I am.
Okay, so we wanted to start today with the topic was pointers to presence. And it was quite funny because Debra and I were thinking of a title for the talk and we couldn't think of anything. And I said, what about pointers to presence? And afterwards, going through the library, I see Shaykh Fadhlalla's book, Pointers to Presence. So I just wanted to read for you a small extract from that book. It says, the most challenging issue in human existence is to understand the nature of the self itself. Some of the most frequently asked questions are, who am I? And what can I do to be content and happy? Some people are naturally endowed with a healthy disposition from early on in life and seem to attract positive outcomes. For others, a better knowledge of the relationship between one's ego and the higher self is necessary. Life and its quality are related to the extent of our ability to refer to higher consciousness within ourselves.
So basically, we heard Shaykh speaking about how important it is for us to move from lower levels of consciousness and start advancing ourselves so we can start operating and living in a higher level of consciousness. But if we're stuck in emotions like anger, hatred, revenge, frustration, fear, we're not living in that place. And again, we heard Shaykh saying, come out of that, come out of that. He doesn't want to be around people who are not happy and joyful. We don't want to be stuck in those emotions. So hopefully today we can show you something that can assist in moving you out of that trap of the emotion.
So let's start off, we're going to start off with what is kinesiology, because it sounds like a very complex, complicated word, and it's actually quite dreadful when Debra and I have to say, oh, you know what, we practice kinesiology, and then somebody says, well, what is it about? And we actually just want to say, can't we just show you? Because to go through a long, detailed explanation of what it is, it's so much more difficult to transmit that information. So to start off with, we want to just show the basic muscle test, how it works, and then you can get an understanding of kinesiology. So do we have a volunteer for that? Oh, okay. That was fast. Thank you. Please, seeing as we're behind on time, fast volunteering will be appreciated.
Oh, the pendulum. So literally what we're trying to show you here is how the body responds when we're tapping into our consciousness. We can get answers that are of truth and answers that show us that things are not of truth. Answers that reveal to us what is good for our health and our body and what is pro-life versus what is not healthy for our body. So it is not something you have to think about. It is not something Nabila has to think about. You literally step back and let consciousness that runs this body guide you.
Okay, so going on what Debra says, we're going to start off with a statement that is supposedly truth, right? So your name?
Ruwaida.
Did everybody hear that? Her name is Ruwaida. So I'm going to say to you, say my name is Ruwaida.
My name is Ruwaida.
And you're going to lift your arm up and hold nice and strong. Okay. So say your name again. My name is Ruwaida.
My name is Ruwaida.
And hold strong. Good. Now say something like, my name is Mickey Mouse.
My name is Mickey Mouse.
And hold nice and strong. Whew. Okay. That's a very good muscle test. I'm using the same amount of pressure. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. So say something like yes.
Yes.
And no.
No.
Hold nice and strong. Whoa. Okay.
You'll
That's
see the
amazing.
muscle test differentiates between truth and false. When we use a true name, the muscle responds strong because there is energy and truth to it. When we say our name is Donald Duck, there is no such existence, no such energy and no such truth, at least sitting here before us. And so the arm weakens because the muscle has no energy to hold itself strong. So this is the most objective way we found to work with health issues, emotional issues, mental issues, and even spiritual blocks.
So we're going to show, for example, how this muscle test responds. We're going to start off with a simple cell phone test. So there's a cell phone over here. Nobody seems to have claimed it.
It's mine.
Oh.
It's ours.
So I'm going to place it on Ruwaida's body and hold nice and strong. Okay, do you see that? So basically when a cell phone is placed on the body weakens, or the muscle test weakens.
But maybe you're asking why. Why did her muscle weaken when the cell phone came onto her body? Well, the cell phone has electromagnetic radiation that the body is not very fond of. So the minute it touches the body says, don't like it, weakens, and so the muscle test weakens.
And even if we move the cell phone away from her body, hold nice and strong, it starts getting stronger. Can you see the muscle test is starting to respond? It's starting to actually get stronger. Do you see? Until it's this distance away from her.
So this is showing us how clearly we are very energetic beings, that the phone isn't even touching the body, but within your energy body, that electromagnetic frequency is having an impact.
So we're going to move on to how can we actually protect ourselves from something like that, and can the muscle test actually respond to whether if something is protecting your body, how would the muscle test respond? So we're going to put the personal card. It's a magnet that protects from electromagnetic radiation on top of that, and hold nice and strong. Do you see that? The same muscle test. So again, hold nice and strong without the personal card and with it.
So you all know that there are a lot of devices you get that can protect you from the electromagnetic radiation. This is one of them, a highly charged magnet that protects you. And in actual fact, if it's on your body, it protects you more than just the cell phone. It's Wi-Fi, it's anything that you're coming into contact, maybe low frequency underground water, protecting this body. But this was just an introductory way of showing you how the body is able to respond through a muscle test to show us what is good and healthy for us and what gets us moving forward and moving to a higher consciousness versus what is unhealthy or not good for the body. Are there any questions at this stage? Because we're going to keep showing you examples, and if you're a little bit hung and trapped on not knowing what's happening here, you might be a bit stuck. So if there's anybody, muscle strong, yes. No, kinesiology can only measure that which has been or that which is. So it is testing something that exists or has existed. So you can test anything in this moment and anywhere back in existence, but you cannot future test. If you could, I suppose everyone would be lining up for lotto numbers. I know. But then we'd have 100,000 people winning the lotto and they'd only get 50 Rand each, so it wouldn't really work.
So consciousness would still win anyway.
Yes, exactly. Any other questions? Okay, I think we'll move on from there. We're going to demonstrate how we can work with the body to identify when you have a health issue and how to then find which remedy is going to work for you. We've all been to different doctors, homeopaths, whichever the labels you want to use, where they've recommended a remedy saying, well, give it a bash and let's see maybe in 6 weeks how you're doing. And if it works, then great. And if not, we'll try something else. Just raise your hand if you've had that scenario before. Yeah, there are only half the people who like to tell the truth here. So kinesiology for us is the way that we can really get confirmation if something is going to work for the body or not. We don't decide, we don't use our mind, we use the body.
So on that note, for for this test, we'd like to find out if anybody's experiencing some like digestive problems. So we're basically looking for somebody who's experiencing a bit of bloating, constipation, perhaps. I don't think people would like to be volunteered on that person.
Someone on this side is being volunteered by someone on that side, but yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
So who suffers with possibly feeling uncomfortable after a meal, or very full, or quite bloated, or knowing that feeling of after you've had a meal you feel like you're 6 months pregnant? Nobody?
Nobody wants to admit it.
Yeah, nobody wants to admit it, but
No, we have a volunteer.
yeah.
Thank you, Shameen.
On your back, yeah. Thank you. The testers.
Do you want me to pass them?
I'm going to just test candida and parasites. Okay, so what I'm going to use here are little tester kits that carry frequencies of different aspects. So either candida, parasites, certain bacteria, viruses. We also carry frequency testers for liver, thyroid, and any other aspect of the body. So what's going to happen is, like with a cell phone test, when we put it on the body, we're going to see if the body is doing well, healthy, and strong, or if the body is not coping and is not well. All right, let's just dial in first as we saw. Raise up your arm for me. All the way up here. Okay, we work at that 45-degree angle. I'm going to say hold strong, and then you just hold strong for me. Hold strong. Good. What is your name?
Shameen.
Say my name is Shameen.
Shameen.
And hold strong. Say my name is Donald Duck.
My name is Donald Duck.
And hold strong. Good. This is also a very, very weak muscle test when it goes wrong. Right. So this is the tester for candida, which is a hybrid bacteria fungus that does exist in the digestive tract, but if overgrown, causes certain symptoms. And hold strong for me. The muscle weakens. So with the body weakening, that's telling us the body is in a weakened state. There is a candida issue. Okay, I'm just going to, while she's here, test parasites as well, just to see. Raise up the arm and hold strong for me. And the arm holds strong. So what we get to, the reading immediately tells us is there is a candida overgrowth issue, but there is no parasite issue. No worms. So the way we then figure out what remedy, I mean, you obviously get a couple of remedies. I can't put on a thyroid treatment. I'm not going to put, what else? A liver detox. So I'm going to stick within the range of treating. At this stage, there's a herbal option and a homeopathic. And so we're going to see which the body prefers. So just to remind you, raise up the arm, hold strong for me. The body is weakened and unhappy. We test the homeopathic remedy. And hold strong. It's not working. We test the herbal. And hold strong. It's better, but what would you say? It's not rock solid. So we'll try the two together. Raise up and hold strong for me. That's feeling a bit better. We could also include here, and this is where consciousness really gets advanced, is the treatment of candida often means slight adjustment of diet, like removing yeast and excess sugars. So let's see what happens to the arm as we add this in, just via a verbal command. So with the inclusion of removal of appropriate dietary supplements as well as food. And hold strong. Yeah, it's even better. So you can start to see what will work and what will not work, what will heal the body and what will not heal the body. So, yeah.
And also important to note is when we're testing with kinesiology, we are testing subclinical syndromes. So if Shameen goes with the same problem to the doctor, he won't be able to say, oh, you know what, you have candida, even if he sends a further relevant tests, because the candida overgrowth won't be at a level that is detectable yet. So it works at a lower level of detection, subclinical. So all of these things, a lot of people come with thyroid problems. They say, I've had my bloods are clear. There's nothing wrong with my thyroid. And when you put the thyroid tester on the body, the arm collapses, saying that there is something wrong with the thyroid, but it is a subclinical problem.
Yeah, many people are going to their doctors presenting all the symptoms, but the blood work comes back and says there's nothing wrong. So for me, there's a little bit of a shortcoming. If the client is going through all of these symptoms and struggling, there must be something at hand. So like Nabila was saying, if we can test it at the subclinical level, catch it early on, treat it, it never becomes an actual medical problem. So this is probably the best way in maintaining health, is always to be on the cusp of prevention and attending to it.
And the relief that people experience from taking herbal and homeopathic medication when you've detected something that's subclinical actually shows the importance and the advantage that they have by detecting it through kinesiology. Okay. So for the next,
Just see if there's, are there any questions
Oh,
with
yes.
regards to the health aspect? Yes.
Good morning. My name is Mariam Mir. I'm working as a nurse. In my area, I see a lot of women putting the cell phone in their
Bra.
bra.
Yes.
So when we teach them, we talk about cancer, but is there any other, what do you call
Negative.
it? Yes.
Well, exactly what the muscle test showed us is that when the cell phone was just placed on any part of the body and we just plopped it onto the abdomen, the muscle test in the arm went weak, which means that any time a cell phone is on your body, every cell in your body is at a weakened state. Now, if you're trying to heal, if you're trying to be healthy, if you're trying to be strong, it is not ideal to have your phone on your body. But we're not saying throw your phones away. Just use the appropriate devices to protect yourself to ensure that that high level of energy is there in you.
So there's two things. So there's electromagnetic radiation that you can get from a cell phone when it's switched on and it's connecting to Wi-Fi and it's connecting to the internet. That's electromagnetic radiation, and then you have heat radiation. So even when it's in airplane mode, the phone is constantly emitting heat radiation, and you're still subject to that.
So look, you can't throw your cell phones away. We live in a day and age where people need their phones. Just try to put your phone slightly further away from you. If you're working at a desk, you saw the muscle test here, it was about 1 meter, and then the body was strong. So don't sleep with your cell phone right next to you, keep it 1 meter away from you. If you follow these little protocols, they really make a difference in your health and well-being. So we're not saying throw cell phones away and cell phones are evil and cell phones cause cancer. This is not what we're saying. We just want to show you how to be aware of what's going on with your body.
Great.
All right, so next we want to move on to an emotional clearing. As you can see, we've worked on the body at the physical health level. We're stepping it up now to the emotional level. We are emotional beings, and thank goodness we actually do have emotions, because if we didn't, we would be robots, getting up, eating our food, driving to work, doing our work, get in the car, go back to sleep, and life would be quite boring. However, though, the emotional roller coaster that we as humans go through can be quite tricky. And this technique seems to be one of the quickest, deepest, easiest way to remove some of the emotional charges and blocks we have.
So what we want to do for this next clearing is find a volunteer who is struggling with something that they're going through, something emotional, that every time they think about it, they feel either angry, they feel grief, they feel sad, they feel
Fear, anxiety.
So anybody
If it's
who's going
something
through
private and you do not want to tell us, you do not have to tell us. You can hold the aspect in mind, so please don't feel like we're going to invade your privacy. Anyone struggling with anxiety? Yes.
So I'm in the process of trying to find a new job.
Yes.
The anxiety of going for the interviews also gets to me.
Okay, and then probably walking into an interview. Can you imagine the energy she's radiating? The nerves, the anxiety, the fear, the stress, the strain, and even if she's trying to project the smiling face and give all the appropriate answers, we are energetic beings and we read each other's energy. Someone's going to pick up that she's feeling anxious. And that person who's interviewing is going to wonder, why is she anxious? Is she not really that skilled? Is she not really that capable? Does she not really want to be here? They won't have the answer, but the questions will be there. And that will highly interfere with it. Are you happy to work with that?
Yes.
Okay. So come up,
Come on,
please.
Firoza.
Just gonna grab my water.
Okay, so again, whenever we start off with a dialing in, just to make sure that the muscle test is, or the person is in a good state to work. Okay, so you're going to start off with, my name is Firoza.
My name is Haeri.
Hold nice and strong. Lovely. And my name is Mickey Mouse.
My name is Mickey Mouse.
Hold nice and strong. Lovely. Okay, so I just want you to close your eyes and just try and feel that anxiety that you're going through. Every time you think of, oh, I have to find a job, just go connect with that feeling. Okay. And hold nice and strong for me. Do you see that? Again, hold nice and strong. Did everybody see
Notice
that?
how she is holding the feeling within her, the emotion she's been experiencing, and the muscle test completely weakens. We know that every emotion releases an electromagnetic frequency as well as a chemical frequency. That's how we know when something's funny that we start laughing, and if something's a bit sad, we secrete a tear. We don't have to think about it. The body just naturally does it. So this frequency has an impact on the body. And as you can see, the muscle is now weakening, and so the whole being is weakening through this holding of this anxiety.
So what we want to do is we want to relieve a bit of this overwhelm of emotion. So to do this is this very simple technique, and we'll be teaching it here so that you have a bit of a take-home exercise for all of you to do. So for Firoza, what I will be doing is I'll be tapping on a point that is just 2 digits to the right of the sternum, which is called the cave of the heart. And I'm going to ask Firoza, in the same way that she just connected with that feeling and felt that anxiety and went through all that emotion, if she would do that again, but this time holding her breath. So that you're basically telling the mind, I'm willing to let this go, and rather than die. So basically when you tell the mind, okay, we're holding our breath, either you let go of the breath, either you let go of the emotion and the anxiety and the fears, or you die.
Yeah, we're in a battle of priorities, emotional charge versus survival. So,
And that's how the mind works. It works basically on survival. So we're going to start off with that. So Firoza, when you're ready, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and hold.
and as you see there, the breath comes out. No one has ever been able to kill himself by a breath hold. It's an automatic reflex. It has to come naturally.
Okay, brilliant. So now we retest. So we ask Firoza to go back to the emotion and that anxiety and hold nice and strong. Do you see that? Solid. So everybody can do this with whatever emotional issue they are struggling with, whether it's fear, whether it's anger. You just go tap onto the cave of heart, hold, breath hold, put your hand above your head to sort of balance the energy fields, and tap it out. We can even jump. Oh, thanks.
I'm sure a lot of you, because I know I would be thinking, what is she saying? Cave of heart, and 2 digits left, right, what? If it's left your mind already, wherever you would naturally say I, that's where it is. If you think about it, no matter where you live in the world, no matter what age, no what race, nationality, religion, if someone had to turn around and say to you, point to yourself and say I, we all do this. We don't do some do this and some do this and some do that. We all do that. So it's this innate truth of knowing this is who we are. So we're connecting with that energy to allow the clearing to really work. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. I know we're moving quite quickly, but we are late. Plus this can go so deep and we could stand here for 6 hours, 60 days. We love this. So the next aspect after healing the physical and the emotional is then to attend to the mental. One of the biggest challenges we have as human beings is we are dictated by our unconscious mind. So as much as we try to remain conscious and aware and behave appropriately and say things that are appropriate, quite often we find ourselves just going into autopilot or saying things where after the fact we think, oh, what was I thinking? So if we look at the mind and we divide it into the conscious mind and the unconscious or subconscious mind, only 10% of our functioning comes out of our conscious mind. The rest is coming out of the subconscious. And what is leading the subconscious is how we've been programmed. Either through, as Shaykh was talking about earlier, we've got that innate information that's been imprinted into our DNA, or perhaps it's running through us through early life programs. There are many ways that the subconscious has been programmed, and sometimes incorrectly so. Before the age of 10, you usually have solidified a big majority of your limited beliefs. And before the age of 10, you don't really have a filter, and there isn't the ability to find logic. So when you're trying to tie your shoelace and a friend comes past and laughs at you when you're 5 years old and says, ha ha, you're an idiot, you can't tie your shoelace, that I'm an idiot might stick in the mind. But maybe it doesn't. But what happens if it does? It starts to lead us in a way where we doubt ourselves, we don't feel good enough, where we don't believe in our abilities, and this leads to greater and greater issues. So coming free of the subconscious mind is probably one of the gifts we all should be using and doing every day.
So one of the things that we were mentioning or that Shaykh was mentioning about consciousness and how to connect with that is that if you imagine consciousness as a blank piece of paper and all these limiting beliefs basically being written on it constantly, kinesiology could be that tool to basically erase all those limiting beliefs so that you can actually experience that true self. Okay.
So let's have a look here. Who wants to remove their biggest limiting belief?
It could be anything around relationships, finance, business, what else? Health.
In the back. What would you like to shift? Where are you stuck? Or where is there a limitation? Well, you don't have to tell us, but it would be nice for them so that we could experience. Why don't you just touch on a few points?
Let's say it's a relationship.
Okay. A relationship that's not unfolding or not happening or...
Confused about it.
Okay. It's complicated. It's not a happy, healthy situation. So what would your goal be? For it to find clarity on it? To start having a more functional, healthy, happy relationship?
Clarity. Not healthier, just more clarity.
Okay.
It's a bit difficult to work with.
Does anybody have a more defined issue? Because clarity on relationships is saying like, oh,
You know what? Let's work with it.
Do you want to work with it?
Come. I like a challenge.
Okay.
My birthday is on the 21st of March, just around the corner, and my birthday day is called the Day of Clarity. So come forth and let's give you some clarity. Not that it's my gift, it's that one.
And spring.
Yes, yes. Okay, great. Lie down there, thank you.
Sorry for being so tough.
No.
Good on you.
Not for me, not for me. Right, raise up your arm. So we're going to work at this angle again, just so you can feel. I'm going to say hold strong, and then you just hold strong. Hold strong for me. Good. That's the resistance I want to feel. Okay, speak your name.
Iskander.
Say my name is Iskander.
My name is Iskander.
And hold strong. Say my name is Donald Duck.
My name is Donald Duck.
And hold strong. And just so you were wondering, we were testing women earlier, so it's not about a strength thing. Right. Say the word yes.
Yes.
And hold strong. Say the word no.
No.
And hold strong. Brilliant. Okay, lovely muscle test. So let's see what the subconscious mind is buying into. We're not talking the conscious mind that's logical and reasonable. Here we want someone who wants clarity, who wants to have a healthier, happier relationship. But let's see what is programmed that might be limiting it. So your key thing is you want more clarity. Okay, so raise up the arm. Say, I can find clarity in my relationship.
I can find clarity in my relationship.
And hold strong, and not really strong. So what is that implying? The mind does not believe that is truth. So if your mind does not believe you can find clarity, you're not going to find clarity. The subconscious mind is like a computer. Whatever you input, you're going to output. Raise up the arm. I'd even say if you don't have clarity, it is about finding a healthier, happier relationship. So let's just see if you even believe it can be true for you. Say, I believe I can have a happy, successful relationship.
I believe I can have a happy, successful relationship.
And hold strong for me. And not really. It's not bad. You can see this is a complicated issue because it's not bad. But there's a limitation. So do you know where the limitation is?
Time.
Time? Well, yes, you could wait 20, 30, 40 years. But we're here now. So the way that we can then identify what is that limited belief is to go and see what is the mind built this idea of I can't find clarity in my relationship on. So what I've got here is a list of 320 original sabotaging and limiting beliefs. These are the basis of most human challenges. I'm going to be using a pendulum here. It is just the same as the muscle test, except I can move a lot quicker with a pendulum to identify which is the limited belief that is holding this program in place. Okay, so the big one is I'm unwanted. So out of 320 beliefs, the mind is holding on to the idea that I'm unwanted and therefore blocking clarity. So let's just see if this is true or not, because again, I know nothing. I'm not a mind reader. Say the statement, I'm unwanted.
I'm unwanted.
And hold strong for me, very strong. Can you feel that? So that is the limited belief that is holding this program in place. So we're going to clear it in the same way with the breath hold as we did the emotional charge. And the power in removing the limited belief is even bigger because, say on your iPhone, you have an album called Thailand Holiday, and you have 1,000 photos that remind you of your Thailand holiday. If you want to delete that album, you don't sit deleting every single photo one by one. You go to Thailand Holiday, you delete the album, and all of it is gone. So we have only looked at the idea of clarity in the relationship and maybe believing he can have a healthy relationship, but there might be a whole bunch more that's linked to this idea of I'm unwanted. So should we get rid of it? Let's do it. All right, so eyes closed. In mind, you're just going to keep repeating the statement, I'm unwanted. Okay, when you're ready, deep breath in for me. And hold that breath. Keep holding that breath till the need for air becomes more important than anything in mind. So keep holding until it wants to release. That's it. Sure. It's a big one. Did you see how long that breath hold was? If you had to swim in a pool, would you be able to hold your breath that long if you went underwater? You would? Wow. Often when the breath hold is this long, it's the mind's desire to hold on to the limited belief. It's almost saying, keep the belief. You can die. We don't care. We don't want the body. We want this. We want this. And often this is the case when people get caught up in their own drama. They don't want to let go of that which is limiting them. But the breath has to come. So let's have a look. Raise up the arm. Say that negative statement, I am unwanted. And hold strong for me. Very weak. Did you see that? I actually could have, the arm was shuddering. So let's oppose that with a positive statement. Say, I am wanted. And hold strong for me. It's very strong. So let's check now if we've cleared that limitation. Say, I can find clarity in my relationship.
I can find clarity in my relationship.
And hold strong, very strong. I believe I can have a healthy, successful relationship.
I believe I can have a healthy, successful relationship.
And hold strong, beautiful and strong. And so the limitation is let go. You can jump up. Thank you.
So just on this point, I am unwanted. It sounds like, oh my word, this guy must have had such a terrible childhood. But actually, it could be anything. It could be something small. The mind doesn't work on only drama. It could be, okay, he was playing and one day his friends went off without him and the mind said, maybe they went off because you're unwanted. It doesn't mean that, oh no, it was so terrible. And you understand, this is how the mind works. It can create drama from something small. So what we need to be reminiscent of is that the small incidences that happen to us that we hold on to, they are seemingly insignificant, but actually they could have dramatic consequences.
If you find yourself stuck in your life or in a pattern, or you notice there's a repetition of something very familiar, you're always on a third date and it never goes further than the third date and that happens 5 times in a row, then there is something that is sitting in your subconscious that is either sabotaging you or limiting you. Then this is an ideal way to look at clearing those limitations.
Instead of removing unwanted emotion or
Well, the reinforcement of positive statements is affirmations. So you can use an affirmation. But again, the affirmation is appealing to the conscious mind and is not delving into the subconscious. Anything that is positive within the subconscious mind, we don't want to touch. We want the computer to be outputting the good stuff. So literally here, the tool and the way we work on the mental level is only removing that which is not serving us. And also, please note that we can't rip out 4,000 limited beliefs and now you're the perfect person. Every limited belief brings a new experience and a new growth. Only if we are deemed permission, and when we start our sessions, we ask for permission, can we then remove that which is not serving you.
And a lot of the times when you speak about positive reinforcement, it's working on 1% of the conscious mind, whereas the subconscious is 99%. So we can say till we blue in the face, I have a happy, successful relationship, and our relationship could be falling apart and we could reinforce it every day. But if those belief systems are in the background, pushing out this junk, we won't be able to get past that.
Right. Any other questions?
You said two things, that a human being is emotional and it also releases chemical.
Yes.
The human being is emotional and it releases chemical.
Yes.
Releases chemical, and also if it's emotional, it also releases energy.
Yes.
Now, there's something also the power of auto-suggestion.
Yes.
Where the subject is actually, you suggesting to the subject what to say, and then that actually helps him because of his positive response to your question.
Well, look, auto-suggestion is something that exists, but not within kinesiology. That is why we use the muscle test. If I want to auto-suggest and try and convince somebody via their mind and my words, then we wouldn't put them on a plinth and we wouldn't muscle test.
But
this for us is our objective way to get out the way. We have no need to try to make people better, worse, good, bad, or any label. We are here to end the suffering that they are going through in whatever way it works. So may it be emotional, mental, spiritual. But yeah, I don't know what you want to add.
I just wanted to add on to that. There's actually a little test where we can show you if somebody holds positivity in mind, whether they could be suggested to. So we're going to take a volunteer for that.
Let's
Would you like to?
do that.
Would you like to volunteer for
No,
that?
let him watch because he needs to see
Okay.
it.
Yes. Okay.
Now, there's another point here I want to make.
Yes, we
just
must do
mention
that.
is that because the brain under extreme circumstances sometimes it releases also something called cortisol
Yes.
into the body.
Yes.
And which resulted it to have a kind of a stun effect on the blood flow of the human being,
Yes.
of the person, of the subject matter.
Yes.
So all that, I can think it has an effect on the...
It does have an effect, but when we start working with the mental body, the energy and consciousness that runs the mental body is going to trump the physical body. So we're not going to go on stumbling blocks of a few little hormones and things that might prevent us from testing. And it really is about our intention again. Our intention is put forward that we're here to help and assist. So we find that the body just kicks into doing this. But we love a skeptic. So we'll do a little exercise. But there was another question, and then we'll come back.
Yes, I had a question, which was, I see in the moment you
Yes.
can clear it. You've managed, and it's a genius, brilliant way of identifying it. But as you were referring to the tenacity of those, you're so attached to your limited beliefs. So in the moment you have cleared it, but then don't you have to keep clearing it? I mean, how does that become fixed? How does that become the new belief? A freeing, liberating belief.
With regards to an emotional clearing, there may have to be several as you go through it, but like Nabila pointed out, we've given you the technique. Sit with the emotion and tap it out. When it comes to the subconscious mind, like we've mentioned, there is no logic, there's no understanding, and it is very black and white in its nature. The subconscious can't see levels of grey and start adding logic in. So if a limited belief has been set into the subconscious mind, like we had, I am unwanted, the minute you remove it, then what lies in mind is I am wanted. And because it's a mind belief that is learned through experience, it's not going to come back unless you have some really big rejecting moment again that then just lands it. But then it's landing it for the first time ever. It's not landing it from childhood and then bringing it through.
And remember that it's sort of like the layers. So remember Shaykh was saying that the makeup for a woman is the first layer. But anyway, we have a lot of layers. So if we think of the onion peel, we want to get away from each layer. So as we clear one, somebody will come to you with a relationship issue. And the entire session might be about relationships. But the next session could be like, oh, I'm so over that. I really want to focus on my physical health. And that's another layer. But something in the physical health could tie into relationships. Why don't I deserve a bright future? Why don't I deserve optimal health? Because I don't believe I deserve a bright future. So things like that. So as we clear away, people start to see, hey, a lot of these limiting beliefs are actually untrue. And a lot of the stuff that I hold is actually untrue. Where is it coming from? Who am I? And then we get to what we are seeking.
Yeah. So So should we do our
Yes,
little
I think
demo?
we should do the demo.
Okay.
So we need one more volunteer.
One volunteer. One volunteer. A muscle test, you don't have to talk, you
Yeah,
don't have to
there's
say
nothing, there's
anything,
no-
you just have to stand as a muscle test. Come on. Do you want to test?
No, you did.
Okay. So, right, just hold strong for me. My name is Fadhlalla. And hold strong, say yes. And hold strong, say no. And hold strong, good. Right, so we're going to work with this muscle test now, where Fadhila's not going to know what we're testing. Okay, she is just the testing methodology, and then this should just answer auto-suggestion and all of that. So I'm going to show you this signal, and it means hold a positive belief in mind. Okay, anything you want. Picture of a child, an image of Allah, imagining your favorite food, anything that brings you a good, happy thought. When I show you this signal, okay, then I want you to hold any negative thought that comes to mind. Okay, Fadhila is now our tester.
And she hasn't seen the signals, right?
Yeah. So I want you to remain as neutral as possible, not thinking good, not thinking bad. Okay, right. So let's start here. Has everyone got that? Okay, hold in mind and hold strong for me. Let's try this one. And hold strong for me. Let's try this one. And hold strong for me. Good. Let's try one more. And hold strong. Good. Now watch the advantage of energy testing as well, because she had no idea. I want you to all hold a negative energy thought, okay? Any negative thought, but I want you to hold a positive thought. We noticed earlier when I gave the signal for negative thought, the arm went very weak, twice in a row actually. So we want to see how we can actually not be affected by negative energy around us. So raise up the arm, everyone with their negative thought. Fadhila holding your positive thought, and hold strong for me, and that's very strong. So can you see that? Thank you very much. Doesn't matter what energy is out there, we can also, if we maintain our positive energy, our level of consciousness, we will not be interfered with by others. But I hope that in demonstration gives you a little bit of an idea.
Okay, so the last one.
Okay. You go. Okay. So we spoke about patterns of behavior and how the mind plays into these patterns, but often we find we come into our life and there's always a featured theme. Is anyone aware of this featured theme that seems to be coming up? It's something they have to learn and connect through and grow and overcome. Anyone aware of what's going on in their life that is their theme?
So if you look across your life like this and you cut it up into slices, you say, wow, that just happened to me over and over and over again, and in different forms with different people, but the sort of theme was the same: abandonment, or separation, or loneliness, or feeling unloved, something like that.
Anybody want to remove their belief of all beliefs? This is the pinging belief, like we removed the Thailand album. This one comes even bigger, because this belief of all belief is attached to the soul that you carry. So it's not about your experiences, your childhood, what people have said to you. It's not about what you believe or don't believe, but it is something that you carry on the soul of who you are. So if granted permission, you can remove this, because it will then assist you in moving forward into other areas of learning. But if it's not deemed possible, then we don't remove it.
Do you want to?
So maybe just check permission.
Yeah. Do you want to share with everybody what you?
Do I have to?
It would be nice.
Why don't
it would be nice for everybody
if you're happy with it, just so that you can get an idea.
Just so everybody could, yeah.
Yeah, a feeling of aloneness, of loneliness.
Yes. So it doesn't really matter.
Has recurred through my life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can connect with that as well, that there's a constant theme. It doesn't matter if you have friends or no friends, family or no family, if you're constantly busy or staying at home, but there's this underlying feeling all the time. Okay.
Yes, you can. So we're going to start again, just dialing in. Say, my name is Shireen.
My name is Shireen.
Hold nice and strong. My name is Mickey Mouse.
My name is Mickey Mouse.
Hold nice and strong. And yes.
Yes.
And no.
No.
Brilliant. So we're just going to put out a few statements. Say, I am alone.
I am alone.
Hold nice and strong. I always experience loneliness.
I always experience loneliness.
Hold nice and strong. I feel isolated.
I feel
Hold nice and strong. And we're just going to do those 3. So we can come back to them in a bit.
So see how the mind and the soul of who she is buying into this belief.
So again, I'm just going to scan onto this list. It's a bit of a shorter list, but we're still going to scan. The belief is, I wish I could leave this world. So it's sort of, and with people on the spiritual path, this is what happens. You find that there's disconnect between the majority of the people in your social circles, and you wish that you could actually go onto a higher station, isn't it? That you could find that true connection. And that's actually what we're all craving for. So that's why when Debra said these are much deeper belief systems, you can hear it. Say, I wish I could leave this world.
I wish I could leave this world.
Hold nice and strong. Do you see how strong that is? Okay, so we're just going to do the breath hold and tap again for this. So I wish I could leave this world and take a nice deep breath in. And hold. So you're going to say again, I wish I could leave this world.
I wish I could leave this world.
Hold nice and strong. Brilliant. Say, I am alone.
I am alone.
Hold nice and strong. I feel lonely.
I feel lonely.
Hold nice and strong. I feel isolated.
I feel isolated.
Hold nice and strong. Do you see that? And you can even reinforce it with something positive. I'm always with great company.
I'm always with great company.
Hold nice and strong. And obviously we all know who the ultimate company is. So we are always in that ultimate company, but the mind creates that separation.
So check the opposite of separation is the one, the connection. So I am connected and I am one.
Say that, I am connected.
I'm connected and I am one.
Hold nice and strong. Do you see?
So can you see how important it is to remove these kind of beliefs that are attached to the soul of who we are? Because if we are on the spiritual journey, if we are constantly controlled through our life, believing that we are alone and intellectually knowing that it's not true, we have to go beyond the intellect. It has to be a true experience that we are one and that we are connected. And then everything changes. So this is the very quick demo we've given you. But really the tool for us is invaluable. If you are on your spiritual path, how can you focus if your health is not good? How can you focus, pay attention, give your love and devotion when you are overrun by negative emotions? How are you going to dedicate time and your heart and your mind when you are being overrun by limitations and negativity? It is of absolute necessity that you remove these blocks so that the path becomes lighter and easier. And for the two of us who work in it, it is life-changing. It is a process that is life-changing. But yeah, I'm sounding like I'm trying to convince you, but I'm actually just expressing my passion.
But basically, when Shaykh said that the title of the conference is what is it that you are seeking and how do you get it, we just feel like kinesiology is so on point. It is really a pointer to presence. So we hope with that,
we leave you with some skill and
Yes.
some knowledge,
Yeah.
Not just a talk at you, but something that can really connect with you and that you can walk away with and hopefully bring positive change and advancement of consciousness.
Amen.
Thank you.
There's a question.
Any more questions?
Yeah, there is training that you would go through if you wanted to learn to do it yourself. Otherwise, you can take the first step and come and see Nabila or myself, and then we will guide you through it. But there are training courses that we could also guide you to as well. So you can learn how to do this for yourself. Yes. Oh,
We should have done the testing, but we're running out of time. But they asked, can we just show one?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
So
Sorry. Can we just, this one?
This
We
one.
won't have these kinds of opportunities again, so please
Weakest,
go ahead.
strongest.
Biggest, strongest.
Ah.
This one.
Yeah.
So it's just basically you take your strongest link, which is your thumb and your index finger.
And use your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, use your strongest 2 fingers in your strongest dominant hand.
And then your weakest link in the other hand. So your thumb and your baby finger in your in your
Non-dominant
non-dominant hand. I was like, what's the word undominant? And then you basically say your question. So if I say I'm Nabila, and do you see that I can't even break it, and I'm using pressure. And then I am Mickey Mouse, or my name is Mickey Mouse, and
So you use
You
the
see
2
that?
fingers
So-
internally to try to break open the weakest link.
but if you don't get it right the first time, it's just a matter of training. So it's yes, 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 no, 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 and you fake it till you make it, and then you do the test. Then you start with the test, the actual testing. So you say this is a yes, this is a no, this is a no, this is a no, and you break the bond, and then you say this is a yes, this is a yes, this is a yes, and then you do the actual test. My name is Nabila. My name is Mickey Mouse.
But please, there's one very important caveat, is you never use a question. You are posing a statement, and then you are getting confirmation yes, or a non-confirmation of no. It is always the use of the statement. You heard us saying, my name is, I am unwanted, or whatever the words were. So it's a statement, and then you confirm it with a yes when the fingers stay together, and a no when the fingers break open.
And then finally, Debra and I are available for appointments on Monday, but they are limited appointments at the clinic.
So Tuesday, I can do Tuesday.
Okay, and Tuesday. Debra can do Tuesday as well. So if you'd like, please make your appointments timeously. And then, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that stunning demonstration of how connected and totally integrated consciousness is, sewing all of our various attributes into a wholeness. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you. We will be having a lunch and dhuhr salat break now, after which we will be gathering here at 2:15 for the poetry. We've moved the poetry session to be the first of the afternoon sessions. There will be 20 minutes of reading of some of Shaykh Fadhlalla's more recent poetry. And after which there will be a presentation on the hidden stories that we tell ourselves, followed by tea, and then we will have a group discussion unpacking aspects of the spectrum of reality. Bismillah. Thank you.
Great presentation.